Let's go ahead and check your homework assignment to see how well you did with these problems. So, keeping in mind, if we want to get these done, most of these problems are going to utilize the point slope formula. So what I will do is identify a couple things that are vital. There's x1, there's y1. This, of course, right here is it's denoted as a slope. So we know we know a point on the graph of the line, and we know its slope. We can jump immediately into this equation. So we're going to take y minus the y coordinate, which I see is a 0, equals the slope, which I see is -3, times x minus the x coordinate of 9. And paying close attention to the fact that I'm keeping the x and the y as variables because they represent all of the points that are on the line. Now what I'm doing is distributive property, and that one is done. Let's go on to number 9. x1, y1, pay close attention to which one is which. There we go, y minus y1, that's a 6, equals slope, or m, times x minus, now pay attention to this, x is a -6. Okay, and you know what we're going to do about those two negatives. That's right, we're going to make those a positive. Let's keep the y minus 6 here temporarily. Do a distributive property over here. You can go ahead and get out your calculator if you want there, but I know I'm just going to go 2 divided into 6 is 3. 3 times that over 3 is a 9. All right, I'm going to solve my equation. Add the 6 to both sides. And here we go. Here comes the final answer. Y equals mx. And there's b. It's a 15. Let's move on to the next two problems. All right, so these are similar from the perspective that you do have a point. In fact, you have 2 points. You only need one, and then we need to calculate the slope. So I think what I'm going to do is decide which point I want to use. I think I'll just use this point. It won't matter which one you have. So I'm going to list this. And I'm going to list the fact that this is x1 and that's y1. Now, believe it or not, had I used the other point, I'd actually get the same answer. You can test it out if you don't believe me. Let's get my slope now. All right, from this point to that point, I've got to count up 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to run 2. So my slope is 4 over 2, which reduces to 2. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this problem now. I've got everything I need. Y minus y1. All right, do we all see that's 2 negatives, right? It's going to be a plus, equals m, which is 2, that's what we calculated from the graph, times x minus x1, which is a 1. Now it's time to keep the left side by itself temporarily. Right side, we will do a distributive property. And now I will solve the equation. And here comes the final answer. Y equals mx, b is -5. And there we go. How about we take a look at the next one? Once again, pick a point. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'll just use that one. -6 and 4. This is x1, this is y1. Now I'm going to calculate the slope. Now in this case, it looks like I've got to move down 2, so that's -2, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is -2, that's my rise, run is 4. I will reduce that to -1/2. Time to get started. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is a negative 6. You know what to do if you have two negatives, right? That's a plus. Left-hand side, temporarily, let's keep it as it is. Distributive property. Multiply here, it'll be negative half of 6 is 3, right? Solve the equation. Okay, here comes the final answer. Y equals m x b is 1. Okay, now we're going to get to the more complicated problems. And in these problems, we will have to start off by calculating the slope. Okay, everybody? So in number 15, this is x1, that's x2. This would be y1, and this would be y2, denoting that you've got your first point and then the second point. Since we don't know the slope and we don't have a graph that we can count squares, we're going to need to calculate our slope. So what I will do is I will set up my formula. I'm going to get to work. y2 minus y1. See, look how I'm carefully taking these from where I've denoted them above. x2, x1. Time to simplify this. Divide. Okay, slope is negative 2. I'm ready to get started. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to identify my information. I will use this as 0.1, and this is my slope. Here we go. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I could use the other point if I want to, but I don't need to. Let's do a distributive property. You get the same answer either way. Solve this thing. Add 2 to both sides. Okay, here comes the final answer. Y equals mx plus b. So those 2 points that we were given would be on that line right there. Let's try with number 16. Let's see how you did. I'll say that's x1 and I'll say that's x2. I'm going to say this is y1 and y2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and calculate my slope. Now what I'll do is I like to set up this template. Makes things easy for me. Y2. Y1 is a negative 2. All right, so we know what happens there, right? That's a plus. X2 minus X1. Well, let's see what we get here. That'll be 3 up top, 6 down below. That's 1/2. I've got everything I need. I'm going to highlight it for you. Here's the point on the line. There's your slope. Point slope formula. Y minus Y1. It's a negative 2. So we know that's going to turn to a plus 2. Equals M, we just calculated that, times X minus what's X1? It's a 6. Time to do a distributive property on the right-hand side, keeping the left as it is momentarily. So that's 1/2 X. Half of 6 is 3. Solve this equation, subtract 2 from both sides. All right, let's see what our final answer is. So those 2 points are on this line, right there. All right, let's field some questions if there are any.